Everyone says I have a good temper and that I'm loyal in love. In the second year of our relationship, Gabriel had another one of his explosive tantrums and blocked me everywhere online. Before disappearing, he coldly threw me a line, "Just pretend I'm dead. Don't bother me again." I know that every time Gabriel gives me the cold shoulder, he uses it as an excuse to drink and unwind with his so-called female bros. Just like always, I didn't cry, didn't argue, didn't expose his lies. One day, the dead Gabriel passed by a cafe and unexpectedly saw me there. I was looking fragile and helpless as I spoke to the handsome guy sitting next to me. "After my boyfriend passed away, I've been so lonely I can't even sleep at night." The guy frowned and said, "He was a jerk. He's not worth missing." I sighed. "Well, I've got a good temper and I'm loyal. What can I do?" I held his hand, and he hugged me out of sympathy. Outside the floor-to-ceiling window, Gabriel turned red with rage. Chapter 1. When I sent Gabriel a goodnight message, I realized I'd been blocked again. This time, he was truly pissed. Not only did he block me on WeChat, but on every possible platform where I could contact him. Left with no other choice, I called his buddy Domi. The background on his end was loud and chaotic. Domi hesitated, then finally said with sympathy in his voice, "Sis-in-law." Gabriel said, "Just pretend he's dead. Don't bother him." I replied softly, "All right." Just as I hung up, Anna sent me a photo. In it, she was pressed up close to Gabriel. The two of them were holding a microphone together, clearly intimate. Then a video followed. In the video, a tipsy Gabriel had his tie loosened and was leaning back on the sofa with his eyes closed. He took a sip of Anna's drink, using her hand to do so. Then, frowning, he grumbled, "Domi, didn't I tell you not to answer her calls? Why the hell did you pick up?" He pinched the bridge of his nose hard. "So King annoying." Anna texted, "Ruby, please don't be mad. I've known him for years. And Gabriel's just got a bad temper. I'll apologize to you on his behalf. Everyone knows I'm the girl with a good temper and long-lasting love, the type you can't get rid of even if you try." I stared at the photo and her message, not feeling particularly sad or angry, just a faint sense of exhaustion. I replied, "You're apologizing for him? What are you, his mom or his side chick?" Anna was stunned. She never expected that the usually quiet me would clap back. She wrote, "Don't you think you're going too far? I was just trying to comfort you." I said, "Hugging and getting handsy with a guy who has a girlfriend, is that your idea of comfort?" Anna didn't reply. Less than 30 seconds later, she called, with a voice message. It was Gabriel's voice. He said coldly, "Ruby, can you knock it off already? Do you have to harass every friend I have?" I asked calmly, "How long is this Cold War going to last this time?" He scoffed, "None of your business. You pissed me off. I'll ignore you for as long as I damn well please. Get this straight, stop bothering me." Then he shouted, "I told you. Just pretend I'm dead, all right? Don't come bothering me again." The voice message ended with a hard slam. And all this anger? It started because I was 10 minutes late delivering him some snacks. He always sided with his female bros. And I didn't cry. I didn't get angry. I just made a call in a soft, innocent, and wronged voice. I said, "Noah, my boyfriend's dead. What should I do?" Chapter 2. Noah quickly replied, "Ruby, don't panic. What happened exactly?" I took the opportunity to call him. After all, I was a pitiful mess, confused and heartbroken. The phone rang 3 times. That represented Noah's brief hesitation, a weak struggle between concern and boundaries. But being the good guy he was, Noah picked up in the end. Sniffling, I cried softly. "My boyfriend's friend told me he died." "Noah, I'm just so sad." Noah sighed. Heart aching, I seized the moment, making myself sound even more pitiful. "Noah, I'm sorry. Did I interrupt your work?" "No, the company stuff was done hours ago." "That's good. I'd feel even worse if I delayed you because of my own problems." "Ruby." Before he could finish, I took a deep breath and said with feigned lightness, "Noah, I won't disturb you anymore. I just want to go to the beach by myself to clear my head." 1 second, 2 seconds. Then, I let out a trembling little sob. Noah said in a low voice, Wait, I'll go with you. It's too late to be out alone. Bingo. I smiled silently, then hung up the phone. Suddenly, a strange number called. Multiple missed calls, but because I was already on a call, they were cut off each time. Finally, the anonymous person had enough and messaged me. Who are you on the phone with? Why such a long call? Hang up and go apologize to Anna now. I glanced at the messages and pretended not to know it was Gabriel. Then I tossed the phone on the sofa, too busy picking out what to wear for the beach. I had to look just pitiful enough, but also beautiful. In my hand were a thin, flowing dress and a white trench coat. Autumn was approaching, and the sea breeze was chilly at night. My fingers moved slightly. I chose the dress. Just before heading out, I finally spared a second to check the messages. Gabriel was never the clingy type. He was good-looking, came from a wealthy family, a once-lost child who was finally found and brought home by the Gabriels, survived hardship. So the elders doted on him excessively. They raised him into someone proud and arrogant. He was used to others chasing after him, coaxing him, never the other way around. And as expected, this time, all he sent was a single question mark. Then, fine, real fine. Looks like I finally made him genuinely upset. He was getting ready to retaliate. Anna sent a voice message. Ruby, you're a girl, how can you be so heartless? Gabriel's drunk out of his mind and you still won't go to him? In the background of her message, a low male voice mumbled, ambiguous and slurred. It was unmistakably the sound of someone lying down. I had assumed they went to a hotel, but when I opened the video Anna sent, my eyes widened. It was our bed, our bedroom. A drunken Gabriel looked coldly into the camera, defiant. He pulled Anna into his arms on his own and, with one hand, gave the screen a big middle finger. Chapter 3. It was obvious. Gabriel knew Anna would send me the photo. He might have even told her to take it. He's always been like this. If someone hurts him a little, he retaliates tenfold, never caring who's right or wrong. He aims straight for the softest spot, the one you care about the most. No mercy, as if letting out his anger was the most important thing in the world. Anna messaged again. Ruby, Gabriel's drunk. He kept begging me not to leave. Please don't misunderstand. And don't be mad. He's just childish. He's always been like this. Don't fight because of me, okay? I didn't reply. Just saved the video, recorded the voice message, then posted a WeChat moment, only visible to a few mutual friends in our circle. Caption: plastic bags can hold all kinds of trash. Almost the second I hit post, Anna panicked. Ruby, I was joking. Why'd you post that? You're being way too serious. I replied blandly. Yeah, I am being serious. I added, sorry, my boyfriend just died. Seeing someone who looks and sounds like him kinda messed with my mood. Chapter 4. I put down my phone, and everything returned to silence. I didn't respond to Anna's frantic counterattacks. Just felt, the last lingering ache in my heart quietly vanished. Gabriel and I had once begun in a blaze of glory. There are no real fools in this world. If a man is obviously awful, glaringly toxic, no woman would fall for him, let alone get tangled up for so long. So at the start, Gabriel wasn't like that at all. He was handsome, young, and generous. His whole being radiated boldness and youthful energy. When he liked someone, he wanted to be a knight, ready to take on the whole world for her. He helped me deal with a creep who was stalking me on my way home from work. He stood up for me when my boss was being harsh. I once believed we were in a relationship of equals, but the world wasn't interested in being Gabriel's enemy, and so the knight's sword he proudly raised just started to look sillier and more pointless. Until one day, he suddenly began to pick fights with me. Gabriel muttered under his breath, Ruby, don't you think your personality is just boring? His friends snickered, the one laughing the hardest, even exchanging mocking glances with Gabriel, was his female bros. Anna. That was when I realized, they must have been talking about me behind my back for a long time, while I was busy thinking about our future, while I was hoping to make our relationship stronger and more stable. Gabriel had already started treating it all like some thrill-seeking game. Love was fading, and breaking up, well, it was probably overdue. A soft blade slicing flesh, slow, silent, and cruel. Gabriel's friends always said I was easygoing and loyal. What they didn't know was that I was simply using up the last bits of my regret. Not regret for losing Gabriel, the person, but regret for the love I'd wasted. Until that rainy day. Gabriel blocked me after another fight, so I didn't even get the chance to tell him we were over. That day, as my heart gave out, I left their dinner party alone, phone in hand, walking through the rain. Down the street, I saw a Porsche driving the opposite direction, heading toward the party I had just left behind. As it passed by, it suddenly turned and slowed down, heading toward me. The window rolled down, just a small crack. A driver got out hurriedly, following the instructions from the person inside, and handed me an umbrella. Through that narrow opening in the window, I saw a pair of gentle, calm eyes, the kind that seemed to love the world, but not any one person in particular. Distant, but polite. That narrow car window, it felt like a boundary between two different worlds. I think I fell in love with Noah at first sight, which only proves I wasn't entirely innocent either. Chapter 5. The Seaside. Noah arrived right on time, in fact. 15 minutes early. Out of courtesy, he leaned against his black Porsche, replying to company messages. His gaze was slightly lowered, yet it couldn't hide the quiet warmth and steadiness between his brows. He was the kind of man who was kind and generous, but if you approached him with selfish desire, he'd be the coldest person alive. If you were pitiful to the point of breaking, he would hold you without hesitation. But if you came to him with burning passion, begging for just one touch, he would coldly reject you and stay away for life. I looked at him. He truly seemed like a flower on a high mountain peak, too distant to reach. Noah finally noticed me. He looked up and frowned slightly, disapprovingly. "Ruby, you're dressed too lightly. You'll catch a cold." As expected, the very next second, a gray coat settled on my shoulders. The long hem fluttered around my calves in the sea breeze. Noah's signature scent, a subtle bamboo fragrance, lingered in the air around me. I shook my head weakly. Noah. I was a little out of it. I didn't pay attention to what I was wearing. He sighed again, helplessly. The original plan was to walk along the beach, but I refused, insisting that he get in the car instead, to avoid catching a chill. Noah, who rarely let anyone this close, found himself gently maneuvered. He had no choice but to invite me into the car with him. The cabin was small and close. Noah had to bend his long legs slightly, and accidentally brushed against my skirt. He paused and leaned discreetly toward the driver's side window. I heard that familiar low sigh again, the one that meant he didn't know what to do with me. The warm air from the car heater turned on. Gabriel, Noah furrowed his brows, troubled. He didn't finish. It felt like guilt, a secret he didn't know whether to say out loud or swallow. But I, of course, was understanding. I wouldn't let him feel torn. Noah, you don't have to comfort me. I just need a moment alone. I tilted my head up and gave him a small smile. It's always been like this. Since I was a kid. Whenever something makes me sad, if I sit by myself for a while, I stop being sad. Noah's hand, which had been about to check the time, stopped midair. And then, another rare gesture. He set his phone to silent, turned the screen down, and placed it in the glove compartment. Those soft and compassionate eyes looked straight at me, completely unguarded. That won't do. Whatever's hurting you, just tell me. Maybe there's something I can do to help. I was too pitiful, too weak, couldn't even speak clearly, couldn't sit up properly. I had to lean sideways, whispering softly, and while I leaned, I accidentally ended up resting on Noah's shoulder. What a bother. By the time I finished speaking, because I'd forgotten to bring a handkerchief, big, fat tears rolled down my face. Noah didn't have time to grab tissues. In a fluster, he reached up to gently wipe them away with his hand. Even more of a bother. And by the time I got home, I'd forgotten to return Noah's coat. I had no choice but to hang the soft, faintly scented coat in my own closet. So careless of me. But surely, God would forgive my recklessness. After all, my boyfriend died. Tragedy strikes without warning. People are bound to make mistakes. As I closed my eyes and drifted off to sleep, I sighed softly. Chapter 6. The next day, the WeChat post I made got a flood of comments. Friend A, yep. Classic fake innocent B asterisk TCH, certified green tea. Friend B, for real. Trash bags can hold all kinds of garbage. But aside from the few who stood up for me, most people chose to side with Anna. Mutual friends, tangled connections, most of them were tied to Gabriel in one way or another. Sheesh. Gabriel already said nothing happened last night. Don't be so paranoid. Sis-in-law. Here we go again. Drama queen strikes back. Anna also commented, all pitiful and wide-eyed. Ruby, why won't you reply to my messages? I was really just taking care of Gabriel. Why are you getting upset so easily? See? Everyone's saying you're overreacting. I laughed. Then that unknown number messaged me again. All right. Enough. Stop being dramatic. Fine. I'll unblock you. But learn your lesson. Stop slandering Anna. And the very next second, Gabriel was stunned. He called me, completely bewildered. Ruby, did you block my number? What's that supposed to mean? I sighed. The timing was right. The net was cast. Time to cut the rope. I said softly, Gabriel, let's break up. Chapter 7. After hanging up, I blocked that number too. I knew Gabriel had plenty of ways to contact me if he really wanted to. But even just a moment of peace was worth it. The instant I ended the call, the world fell into calm silence. And just like that, a 2-year relationship and 3 months of dragged-out misery came to a complete and final end. I took a deep breath, then blocked every mutual friend who spoke ill of me and Anna. Back in the early days, Gabriel was passionate, eager. He wanted to glue me to his side, bring me to every gathering with his friends, introduce me to everyone he knew. He said he wanted the whole world to hear how much he loved me. But now, long after all of that, the only outcome of adding people to my contacts was having to block them one by one. Too much trouble. Chapter 8. I didn't know this, but Gabriel stared at his phone for a long time. In his world, this was just another fight, nothing out of the ordinary. After the Cold War ended, I was supposed to crawl back like a loyal little puppy, because I was boring, with a plain personality and an average family background. Someone like me could never find better than him, or so he believed. And because of that, Gabriel knew the truth, but chose to play dumb. He was sure that no matter what he did, I wouldn't leave him. But now, what the hell was going on? He stared at the screen for several minutes. The blocked status still hadn't changed. Fine. Get angry. Be dramatic, but everything has a limit. Did I seriously expect him to beg me now? His brows locked in a hard frown. He logged into every single platform he could think of, searching for a gap in the net, any leftover account he could message me from. If I find a way to reach her, she's done. This Cold War is going to continue. I can't let her think she's in control. That's what he thought. But unfortunately, every platform, even the burner accounts he'd forgotten he owned, had been blocked by Ruby. Gabriel's chest rose and fell violently. F***CK. The next second, his brand new phone slammed against the wall. It shattered into pieces. The sound startled everyone nearby. The chatting, drinking, laughing friends instantly went silent. Domi, give me your phone, Gabriel demanded. Gabriel, Domi stammered. She blocked me too. Gabriel's expression darkened further. Anna shrugged. I really don't get Ruby. Maybe I'm just too straightforward. Sometimes I can't understand those little mind games girls play. Don't be mad. Gabriel, worst case, I'll introduce you to someone new. You're so handsome. It's not like you'll have trouble finding someone. She smiled as she comforted him. One of the guys yelled, exactly. Let her go. Bro, next one will be even more obedient. Like she's even in a position to make you simp. Shut up, Gabriel muttered. He furrowed his brows and lit a cigarette. Someone had already picked up the wrecked phone and carefully placed the SIM card next to Gabriel. Anna kept her eyes on him. The dim blue-purple lights danced with the cigarette smoke, brushing softly across his brows and eyes. Sharp and wild, this man looked like he had bad news written in his DNA. But somehow, despite all the fights and the anger, he'd still stayed in a relationship with Ruby for 2 whole years. That contradiction stirred up a growing sense of competition in Anna. Suddenly, Gabriel looked up sharply. Anna, what exactly did you say to Ruby last night? Anna faltered. Nothing. Really, I just explained the misunderstanding. told her not to be so upset. Gabriel rubbed the bridge of his nose. The cigarette burned down to ash. Someone, tactful, had already sent for a replacement phone. Gabriel murmured under his breath. Is that so? Then she should cool down in a few days. But for some reason, a strange anxiety crept into his chest. A hollow feeling, like he'd fallen into a fog that wouldn't clear. Like he was falling, and getting closer to rock bottom. Chapter 9. 1 week later. I told Noah I wasn't that sad anymore. I could eat again. So I decided to treat him to a meal as a thank you. After dinner, I was still feeling a little down, so I pulled Noah aside for a chat. We talked about his hobbies, and the movies we liked. It was quite fruitful. The only downside was that, when I got home, I saw Gabriel standing at my door with his arms crossed. When Gabriel saw me, his face was as grim as ever. Are you done making a scene? It's been a week. Why haven't you come back to our place? How much longer are you going to stay in this crappy rental? He seemed certain I would stay silent, treating me like a convenient punching bag. But this time, he guessed wrong. I cut him off bluntly. You want to know why? Because it's disgusting. Gabriel froze, clearly in disbelief. What did you say? I'm disgusted by you and by Anna. Gabriel replied impatiently. How many times do I have to say it? She was just taking care of me. Nothing happened. That day I was just trying to piss me off. I knew exactly what he was about to say. And knowing his personality, I knew he couldn't bring himself to say it out loud. Sure enough, Gabriel clenched his jaw and instead shoved his phone in my face. Add me back. His arrogance carried a naive assumption. Add me back and I'll forgive you. I let out a laugh, coldly staring at him. Whether you forgive me or not is your business. We've already broken up. Move. Don't block my way. Gabriel froze. This was him lowering himself as far as he could go. He hadn't expected that even after giving me an out, I wouldn't take it and instead kicked him while he was down. His cheekbones flushed red with anger. He suddenly grabbed my wrist. What do you mean, Ruby? You're not allowed to walk away. Explain yourself. I frowned, looked him in the eye, and said each word clearly. Gabriel, you told me to act like you're dead, and now you're clinging to me. What do you want? You want me to call an exorcist? Gabriel refused to give up. Why are you taking it so seriously? I've said stuff like that before and you still. So why do I always have to be the one to put up with it? Gabriel, let me say it again. We've broken up. We're nothing to each other now. I never agreed to that. Oh. I looked at him coldly. I didn't realize everything between us needed mutual consent. Then tell me, Gabriel, when you brought another woman into our bed, when you flirted with others, when you belittled me to their faces, did you ask for my consent? Gabriel was speechless. He was breathing heavily. His eyes, always full of anger and accusations, now showed a rare flicker of panic. You're serious? He forced his way into my apartment without permission. Like a stubborn, clueless mutt that couldn't read the room, he kept pushing. You can't be serious, right? Ruby, without me, who's going to take care of you? But in the next moment, all his confidence froze, because hanging on the coat rack was a man's jacket, crisply ironed, clearly high-end, and expensive. A jacket someone had taken care of meticulously. The style was understated and simple, completely different from how Gabriel usually dressed. It was obvious. It wasn't his. Chapter 10. The room was dead silent. I spoke. Gabriel, get out. Ruby. As always, he didn't listen to a word I said. Fuming, Gabriel reached out to grab the jacket. Smack! A crisp slap landed on the back of his hand. I said get out, and don't touch my things. Gabriel stared at his reddening hand. You hit me? For some random guy's jacket. You hit me? The words my things pierced his heart like poison-tipped thorns. A wave of burning jealousy and rage surged even higher. Who is he? Fuck, who is this guy? None of your business, I replied, expressionless. How is it none of my business? Gabriel suddenly couldn't go on. He stared at me, the corners of his eyes gradually turning red. He took a half step back, visibly shaken. Ruby, why are you looking at me like that? Like we're nothing to each other anymore. I closed my eyes and said softly, "Because I'm tired. I've been tired for a long time." "Gabriel, you brought this on yourself," I said. "We are nothing to each other now." Gabriel froze, head bowed. He muttered to himself, "Enough. Enough. Just tell me his name. I won't let him keep seducing you. As for us," he pressed his lips together, "we're just a couple having a fight." I got a little loud. "And you just drifted a little in the relationship. We're even now." He clenched his teeth. "These are just small things. Ruby, you've always been the patient one. Just give me another chance. One more time." "Is that really so hard?" I said. "I like him." Gabriel took a deep breath, his chest trembling. "What did you say?" "Say that again if you dare," I answered calmly. "I like him. I don't like you anymore. He's hard to get. I'm the one chasing him." Silence. A suffocating silence. Like drowning in deep, heavy water. Gabriel felt as if a dark fog had swallowed him whole, dragging him off a cliff and slamming him into the ground so hard his head spun and his legs went weak. It felt like something was pressing against his back, squeezing out all his insides. He opened his mouth, but couldn't speak. His mind was full of the first time he met Ruby. Those warm, friendly eyes, her smile, her once trusting dependence and boundless love. Who had become the boring one? Was it her? Or was it him? He suddenly didn't know anymore. Gabriel tried twice before he could force out a sentence. "Think about it again. You're just acting on impulse. I shouldn't have stayed cold toward you for so long. That made you catch feelings for someone else." He looked up, but my expression hadn't changed. No hesitation, only growing impatience and weariness. Gabriel finally spoke, defeated. "Right. You're mad about another woman sleeping in our bed. You're just trying to get even, right?" He said desperately. "Fine, Ruby. Then I'll allow you to stray just this once. He can play games with you, drink with you, stay in our place, but just for one night." The more he spoke, the harder it became to continue. His throat was tightening with emotion. Truthfully, just imagining someone else drinking with me was enough to make him lose it. I watched his expression. He finally understood. No one can truly accept the so-called female bros. All those things he insisted were just normal friendship when flipped around and put on him, with himself as the one being hurt, suddenly became unbearable and unacceptable. Gabriel pinched the bridge of his nose hard, trying to hold on to reason. "But you're not allowed to sleep together. You're not allowed to kiss. Whatever I didn't do with Anna, you're not allowed to do with him." His strained tone made it sound like he was offering me some great favor. "After you're done with this little detour, we'll get back together, okay?" Gabriel looked at me, eyes full of desperate hope, waiting for my answer. Chapter 11. I gently shook my head. "No, we already broke up. Who cares whether you allow it or not?" I pointed out calmly. Gabriel's face turned pale with rage. He stared at me in silence, as if he couldn't accept that his compromise had been tossed aside like trash. Unable to take it anymore, Gabriel stormed out in fury, slamming the door behind him. Out in the hallway, he clutched the handrail, breathing heavily. Then, just as his anger began to subside, a strange instinct crept in, that faint scent on the men's coat. A rare, luxury men's cologne. It was familiar, very familiar, like someone close to him had used it before. He hadn't yet figured out who it was, when a message from Anna interrupted him. "Gabriel, you okay? A few of us bros are planning a dinner tonight to help you shake off the bad vibes and welcome your next spring." "Oh right. Want me to introduce you to a girl?" Anna sent a photo. On the left was her, impeccably made up, beautiful and radiant. The girl on the right was clearly caught off guard. A candid shot. Gabriel stared at Anna's message. He couldn't help but recall the things he had said earlier, the images that crossed his mind. If, back when he and Ruby were giving each other the silent treatment, some guy had tried to introduce a new man to her, just the thought of it made Gabriel's stomach twist in knots. He typed back in disgust, "Get lost." Anna was stunned. "Gabriel, what did I say? What's going on? Why are you so angry today? Did Ruby piss you off again?" Gabriel replied, "You said a lot of things to my girlfriend behind my back that you shouldn't have, didn't you?" At last, he understood. A wave of hatred surged in Gabriel's chest. Hatred for Anna, hatred for himself, though the latter, he didn't dare admit, so all he could do was lash out at Anna viciously, venomously, pouring all his frustration into a single message. I said, "Get lost! Don't ever let me see you again." Chapter 12. Gabriel was just a small episode in my life. Soon enough, I left him behind. Noah had already gotten used to checking in on me. I told him I had a great appetite, just couldn't sleep at night from the loneliness after my boyfriend's death. At the time, we were chatting casually at a cafe. Sunlight poured through the floor-to-ceiling windows, casting a warm glow on Noah's face. It made him seem like he was glowing, gentle and serene. When he heard me vent, his brows furrowed slightly. Noah wasn't the type to talk badly about others behind their backs. Precisely because of that, he hesitated for a moment before finally saying, "Your boyfriend was terrible. He's not worth holding on to." I sighed. Well, I'm just too patient and loyal for my own good. But then I quickly added, "That's how I am. I fall too hard and too sincerely. It's just that I trusted the wrong person. If I ever meet someone who truly treats me well, I'm sure I'll walk out of the shadows and treat him even better." Noah's eyes flickered. He opened his mouth, summoned the courage, but still didn't say it. After a moment's hesitation, the hand that had moved slightly toward me quietly pulled back. I looked at him silently. I knew what he was worried about, what he was hesitating over. I needed to give him a little push. "Noah, by the way, how do you know my ex-boyfriend was such a jerk?" Noah finally sighed. That kind of sigh that said he had no defense against me. He finally said, "Ruby, I actually know Gabriel." Noah looked at me apologetically. During the years Gabriel was missing, his family mistook me for him. After they found him again, I changed my surname back. But because of that coincidence, I've remained somewhat of a half-family member to the Gabriels. So technically, Gabriel is my brother. He spoke softly. "It was my fault. Once I knew you were his girlfriend, I should have kept my distance." But he frowned slightly, like a soft-hearted, bookish man too kind to lie. "The way he treated you, I just couldn't stand it. He's not dead. He's just playing games with you again." Noah admitted. "I'm sorry I never told you earlier. I don't know if that counts as selfishness on my part, but Ruby, I swear I never meant to hurt you." I asked gently, "What kind of selfishness?" Noah blushed and looked away. "I didn't want you to misunderstand me. I'm not the kind of man who tries to steal his brother's partner," he said. I just couldn't help how I feel. A master of the game, winning without showing a single move. I put on a touched expression and gently held his hand. "Noah, I won't misunderstand you. You're the best person in the world." He embraced me, full of sympathy. "Ruby, and you're the only girl I've ever felt sorry for." By this point, everything seemed justifiable. Two kind-hearted and pure people, brought together by fate and accident, unconsciously forming a bond. Justifiable, utterly justifiable. As we leaned into each other, I rested on Noah's shoulder. My eyes glanced out the window, almost unconsciously, and suddenly paused. Gabriel was standing right outside the cafe's floor-to-ceiling window, face dark as thunder. No one knew how long he had been watching us. Chapter 13. Bastard! You damn bastard! Why did it have to be him? Why did the guy hitting on Ruby have to be him? Gabriel's face practically screamed those words. He was furious beyond words. He even forgot about appearances and looked like he might kick the glass window in at any moment. Noah frowned slightly, stood up quickly, and walked out of the cafe. He spoke in a calm, gentle voice. "Brother, let's talk in the car. This is a public place." And he turned toward me with concern. "Ruby gets scared easily. Don't frighten her. Don't call me brother. Who the hell is your brother?" Gabriel was absolutely livid, unable to hold back anymore. He lunged forward, throwing a punch right at Noah's face. He wanted to smash that hypocritical face, break his bones into pieces. But this time, the rage that had always bulldozed its way through everything met resistance. Noah firmly caught Gabriel's fist, gripped his shoulder, and pushed him backward until they reached the car door. His expression remained gentle. "Brother, don't be mad. You misunderstood. Nothing has happened between Ruby and me." He sounded a little reproachful, but from someone so mild-mannered, Even his scolding came off like righteous concern. Brother, listen to me. Your temper really is a problem sometimes. You need to work on that. Work on your damn temper? Fuck you. Fuck you. Noah. You piece of shit. Gabriel exploded like white phosphorus. He struggled violently to break free. When he couldn't, he yanked Noah toward him and slammed his forehead into him. Noah tried to dodge. He didn't fully succeed. He got hit at the corner of his eye, startled and a little lost. He turned to look at me. His eye was red, looking genuinely innocent. I immediately said, Gabriel, are you insane? He's so kind. Why would you hit him? Gabriel was so furious. He actually laughed. I looked at him and thought, he always said I was fake. But what was he doing now? The truth was, he had always known what Anna was up to. He just didn't care, because it didn't interfere with his interests. I said quietly, Gabriel, stop it. You look pathetic right now. His laughter stopped. His face turned grim as he stared me down. Seriously? Ruby, did you really go this far just to get revenge on me? And Noah, we were like brothers. Weren't we? How could you go behind my back and do something this low? Revenge? Low? Noah raised his voice. He shook his head and stepped in front of me, calmly explaining, Gabriel, you're the one who got tired of Ruby. You insisted on pretending to be dead just to get her to leave you alone. You bullied her so much that even your friends looked down on her and helped you keep up the lie. This is the modern age, not some feudal society. Ruby thought you were dead. Wasn't it perfectly reasonable for her to move on? Noah continued. And you've never respected me. You never treated me like a real brother. So how was I supposed to know Ruby was your ex? How was she supposed to know I was related to you? Finally, Noah shook his head. Brother, this was just an unavoidable mistake. Gabriel was speechless. We all knew what Noah said wasn't completely false, but it wasn't the whole truth either. I had learned about Gabriel's connection to Noah on that rainy day. When I turned back and overheard Gabriel's friends mocking me, and Noah defending me, he had called Gabriel brother to his face, and got mocked even more for it. But Gabriel had never once mentioned Noah to me. So on the surface, Noah's explanation held up. Not premeditated, not disgusting. In the end, it all came down to one thing. Gabriel had brought this upon himself. Chapter 14. Gabriel was speechless. He laughed even louder. So you're screwing me over. Huh? You two teamed up to screw me over? I stood there without the slightest bit of guilt. Because I knew, if his girlfriend hadn't been me, if she hadn't known how to play the long game and fake vulnerability, the one breaking down right now, in utter misery, would have been her. Gabriel had no sense of justice. He just thought he was superior. That's why he was used to bullying others, and couldn't stand it when someone fought back. I took Noah's arm. Noah, you already explained it to him. If he won't listen, there's nothing we can do. Noah sighed and shook his head, gripping my hand even tighter. We turned and started to walk away. Ruby, don't you dare leave. Gabriel shouted behind me. I didn't look back. He yelled, if you walk away, I swear I'll go find another woman. I turned, staring straight at him, calm and composed. Haven't you already? He froze for a second. I said, at first you said our relationship was boring, that's why you gave me the silent treatment. But later, you kept picking fights, criticizing everything I did, and then went out partying all night. What was the real reason behind all that? I asked him. Gabriel, on those drunken nights, at those parties your friends threw, trying to set you up with new girls, are you really saying you were never tempted? Gabriel's expression stiffened. He hadn't expected me to see through him so clearly. He opened his mouth and forced a reply. They were the ones throwing themselves at me. The parties were crowded. It was easy to accidentally bump into people. It's normal. I never took it any further with any of them. His tone grew weak. Believe it or not, Gabriel. I gave a small smile. You know what? When you talk, you either sound completely delusional or like a total scumbag. I turned to leave. Noah comforted me. Ruby, it's okay. It's okay. There are plenty of better guys out there. If he's gone, good riddance. The next one will be better. He pointed to himself, smiling with warmth and grace and unshakable determination. Chapter 15. Noah was refined. never one to fight for attention. After Gabriel was found, even though his parents still liked Noah, he took the initiative to leave. Now, it helped avoid the awkwardness of running into old acquaintances. He was very different from Gabriel, fewer friends, but closer ones. He also avoided smoking and drinking. Even when kissing, he was gentle and reserved, pecking cautiously, like a little bird sipping water. So I couldn't help but wrap my arms around his neck and seriously, patiently teach him how to kiss. Noah's eyes widened in surprise. So it can be like this? But I haven't learned it yet. Can we do it again? And so, again and again, until he collapsed onto the sofa, smiling quietly, ears glowing red, watching me. He said, "What do we do next? Can you keep teaching me?" I leaned in, whispering in his ear with a grin, "Noah, if you keep pretending, I'm going to drop from exhaustion." Noah smiled even more. He pressed his forehead to mine and gently pulled me into his arms. "All right then, let me teach you this time." As he spoke, he flipped us over and took the lead. I realized Noah wasn't as innocent as I'd imagined. Yeah, I hadn't misjudged. The two of us really were a match. Not too bad, not too good, not that exciting, but not boring either. Everything was just right. Story 2. 1 month before the death, I discovered that the person I had spent half my life with had been cheating on me with his first love for 30 years. When I was in labor, he suddenly disappeared. It turns out, he had gone to his first love's house. They had another home together in a different city. They had even made a pact that if either of them became widowed in this life, they would find their way back to each other. As I stared at the medical report in my hand, was I supposed to just let them have their wish? I couldn't accept it. Chapter 01. When I found those items, I was at home cleaning up. My husband, Diego, always had a locked safe where he kept important documents. But today, for some reason, the lock on the safe was open. I opened the door of the safe, and after seeing what was inside, I couldn't stay calm any longer. The first thing I saw was a jade pendant. The jade was smooth and glossy, as if someone had handled it frequently. It hung from a red string. The color was mediocre, and attached to it was a small note. The edges of the note were yellowed and damaged, and the handwriting, Diego's handwriting, was already a bit faded, with no colorful wings to fly in harmony. Yet our hearts are attuned as one. Pledged to Selena on November 14, 1995. My heart clenched tightly. November 14th was my son's birthday. That day, I had been in labor for 18 hours. But when I came out, Diego was nowhere to be found. My mother-in-law had said he was called away to school on short notice. But little did I know, while I was suffering in labor, he was with his first love. Wrapped up in passion, the thought of this made my heart sink. I emptied the entire contents of the safe in one go, examining every item closely. Diego and I married in 1993, and this year marks 31 years together. Selena was Diego's first love, the daughter of his mentor. The two were indeed each other's first love during their school years. But Diego's mentor didn't think they were a good match and forced them to break up. The safe held a mix of old and new things. There were plane tickets and high-speed train tickets from various trips across the country, all with the names Diego and Selena on them, spanning from the late 1990s to as recent as last year. The oldest items were love poems from their student days. And the newest item? A gas safety notice. The address was in a neighboring city, with Selena listed as the owner. It stated that the gas needed a regular safety inspection and urged immediate contact with a technician. I dialed the number on the notice. "Hello?" A young man's voice answered. "Hello, young man. I'm the owner of First Floor, Unit 3, Building 7 of Xinhua Yuan. Selena." I began to recite the address on the notice but was cut off before I could finish. "Ma'am? Didn't your husband schedule the inspection for this Saturday?" He replied. Chapter 02. The phone rang. It was my son, Marco. "Mom, Lucas wants to have spicy clams and cola chicken wings today. Make extra this time. Last time there wasn't enough." I smiled and agreed. Then the phone was handed over to my daughter-in-law. "Mom, it's Roxana. Lucas has his school opening ceremony tomorrow. Did you wash his uniform? We won't be able to make it back in time." Oh, and don't forget to polish the shoes on the rack too. Thanks, Mom. With that, she hurriedly hung up, leaving me staring at the phone, the dial tone buzzing in my ear. I hadn't even had the chance to say sure. I set the phone down and looked at the hospital report in my hand, sitting in a daze for the entire afternoon. Late-stage breast cancer. Those few words cut through my nerves like a knife, making it hard for me to breathe. And the things I discovered this afternoon only made me question what I've been living for. I married Diego at 22, and my life has been nothing but a whirlwind of busy days. Rushed into marriage, rushed into motherhood, caring for the family, tending to my parents-in-laws. After our son was born, the long days stretched on school runs, helping him marry and settle down. When my grandson was born, I kept running around, tirelessly caring for him. 30 years of marriage, and not a single day was spent in leisure. Now, with not much time left, I just want to live for myself. I put away the small items I had found, taking out only the jade pendant, and sat quietly, waiting for my husband to return home. Before long, I heard the familiar sound of keys turning in the lock. Diego was back. He set down his book and glanced at the empty dinner table, frowning. No dinner tonight? If I don't cook, what are we supposed to eat? Air? He began changing out of his clothes. Make sure to wash and iron these tonight. I have to attend a forum in the neighboring city tomorrow. He was going to see Selena. Hearing this, I looked up and stared at him, placing the jade pendant in front of him. Are you really going to a forum? Diego froze when he saw the pendant, his face turning red, then white, a whirlwind of expressions. Realizing what had happened, he glared at me furiously. Did you go through my things? Who gave you permission to snoop through my things? Do you think you deserve to touch Selena's things? In a fit of rage, he stormed over and slapped me across the face, snatching the pendant from my hand. My cheek burned with pain, and the intense sting made me cough uncontrollably. I struggled through my dizziness and managed to push out a few words. Let's get a divorce. Diego stared at me in disbelief, as if he had just heard a joke. We're in our 50s and 60s, why divorce now? Do you want to be a laughingstock? This is all in the past. Why do you need to stir things up and make it public knowledge? Chapter 03. I didn't say a word. I quietly packed my things. Diego watched me as I gathered my belongings but didn't stop me. He just stared at me coldly. As I was about to leave, Diego angrily threw the teapot in his hand, smashing it in front of me. I've provided you with food and comfort all these years, and at your age, you're making a fool of yourself like this? Fine, leave. Let's see how good your life will be after the divorce. I gritted my teeth, enduring the pain that came from my late-stage cancer. My head was pounding, but I said nothing as I dragged my luggage out the door. After so many years, I found myself standing in front of the small apartment my parents had fully paid for before my marriage, feeling like I had lived a whole other life since then. It felt as if living here was something from another lifetime. Yes, after 31 years of marriage, I hadn't brought much value to my in-laws. Most of my dowry had been sold off to help with household expenses, and all that remained was the small apartment that had been left untouched for years. Because of its remote location, it never fetched a good price on the market. Ironically, it became the last piece of property that truly belonged to me. It was a modest 2-bedroom apartment, already cluttered with so many old items that its original appearance was hard to recognize. I spent an entire day cleaning up the space, making it barely livable. The next day, I contacted a real estate agent and listed the apartment at 10% below the market price. 2 days passed, and instead of hearing from Diego, the person who showed up at my door was my son, Marco. Marco arrived while I was taking a nap. My legs aren't as strong as they used to be, so I hurried as best I could to open the door. Mom, what are you doing? Why did you take so long to answer the door? As soon as I opened the door, Marco began complaining about how long he had been knocking. He must have found this place after hearing something from Diego. I invited him in with a smile, saying, I was taking a nap. What brings you here? The small apartment still had a musty smell from years of disuse. Marco wrinkled his nose in disgust as he glanced around, then turned back to look at me. Mom, come back home. It's not right for you to be living here all alone. What if something happens to you? How do you expect us to feel at ease? And besides, Lucas hasn't seen his grandma lately. He's been crying, asking for you to take him to school. I remained silent, my thoughts rushing like a tidal wave. Hearing Marco bring up Lucas just made me want to laugh. He's just like his father. Whenever they feel guilty, they use the child as a shield or a stepping stone. When Marco saw that I wasn't responding, his patience quickly ran out, and his tone turned sour as he continued to unload on me. I heard about Aunt Selena from Dad. It's not what you think at all. Aunt Selena is an intelligent, refined woman who has dedicated her entire life to her academic pursuits. She's a great person. And besides, what man doesn't have a close female confidant? It's one of life's great fortunes. You and Dad have been together all these years, haven't you? Mom, just be more generous. Don't get hung up on these little romantic squabbles. As Marco spoke those words, I quietly looked up at my good son. For 30 years, I had raised not a son, but an enemy. Chapter 04. After throwing Marco out of the small apartment, I became more determined than ever. I found a lawyer specializing in divorce cases and immediately drew up a will. First, the will made it clear that upon my death, none of my assets would be inherited by anyone. Everything would be donated to charity. Next, I handed the lawyer copies of the plane tickets, correspondence, and the gas safety notice I had taken from Diego's safe. We were going to file for divorce, claiming Diego as the party at fault, and I would demand that he leave the marriage with nothing. By the time all of this was handled, it was already evening. After the lawyer left, a wave of pain crashed over me. My headache intensified, my vision blurred, and the room spun. Vomit, mixed with blood, spewed from my mouth. Tears streamed down my face, not because of the physical pain, but because of the emotional torment that accompanied it. Half of my life had passed, and I realized that everything I had lived was nothing but an illusion. Ring, ring. It was the real estate agent. I hurriedly wiped away my tears, cleared my throat, and answered the phone. The small apartment had sold. The 10% below market price had certainly been tempting. The buyer had already signed the contract, and I was to sign later that day. In about 7 business days, I would receive the full payment. After hearing this, I began to set my travel plans in motion. To be honest, when I saw those plane tickets that Diego and Selena had collected, apart from the bitterness, I couldn't help but feel a sense of envy. 30 years, for the past 30 years, we had lived completely different lives. Their life was poetic, full of freedom and ease. My life, on the other hand, was consumed by trivialities, tightly confined within a narrow space where I could hardly breathe. Chapter 05. Shortly after boarding the train to Les Saux, I received a call from the hospital. Ma'am, your current condition does not allow for travel. Many of your health indicators are far from normal, and you are at risk of fainting at any time. Please come to the hospital for treatment immediately. The call was from a young nurse, probably around the same age as my son. I softly reassured her, telling her I would check into the hospital later, but that I had more important things to do right now. Ma'am, what could possibly be more important than your health? If you don't check in within 3 days, I will inform your family of your condition. The disbelief in her voice was palpable. It was ironic that a stranger was more concerned about my well-being than my own flesh and blood. The train sped on, passing rivers, mountains, lakes, and oceans, much like my rushed life over the years. I had been so tense and hurried that I forgot to appreciate the scenery along the way. When I finally saw the Tangula Mountains and the Tibetan antelope from the train, I couldn't care less about the slight shortness of breath caused by mild altitude sickness. I snapped countless photos and posted them on my social media, captioning them with, "A moment of freedom." Before long, a few people had liked and commented on my post. Most praised the beautiful scenery and left likes. Among the comments was one from Diego. "Tibet is beautiful. You're free now, Rose." No matter the situation, he always managed to keep up appearances in public. My daughter-in-law quietly liked the post, and right after, my son commented, "Mom, you may be free, but we're exhausted." Crying. Ring, ring. I glanced at my phone. It was Marco calling. "Hello? What's going on, son?" I hadn't expected the call to turn into a barrage of complaints. Mom, how could you just go off to Tibet without telling us? You're happy now. But do you know what Roxana and I are going through? We're exhausted. After work, we have to pick up the kid, cook, clean the house. There's too much to do. The house is a complete mess. Mom, how could you be so selfish? Chapter 06. I didn't respond to Marco's accusations. I simply hung up the phone. After I hung up, Marco, not satisfied, kept calling over and over. I turned off my phone entirely. At this point in life, after everything, I had come to realize many things. There was nothing I couldn't let go of anymore. Not even the family ties I once thought were as thick as blood. The delayed effects of altitude sickness and the stabbing pain in my body kept me awake. But the moment I set foot in Lhasa, it felt as if the vast, healing landscape had washed away much of my suffering. I had hired a local guide with a car to take me on a journey, to experience the gifts of nature and the profound cultural heritage of this place. In the countdown of life, seeing these sights, knowing that if I didn't see them now, I never would, felt worth it. On the 6th day of the trip, I fainted. I was rushed to a local hospital in Lhasa, where I explained my condition to the doctor. My health indicators had worsened. My head throbbed as if it were splitting open, and the pain in my body was like a blade repeatedly cutting into my wounds, unbearable. My God, you've put your body through so much. It can't take it anymore. I must notify your family immediately. You need to start treatment at once. The doctor asked for my family's phone number. From the hospital room, I could faintly hear him talking on the phone outside, repeating over and over. It's true, I'm not lying to you. Knowing Diego and Marco, they would likely think it was a scam since I'd always been in good health. I struggled to sit up, but my body had no strength left. My mouth was parched, my lips cracked and dry. I licked them, and my hand trembled as I reached out to pour myself a glass of water. But I was too weak. I couldn't even reach the cup before I had to stop. Let me help you. Don't move. A thin, middle-aged man stepped forward, gently taking the kettle from me. He looked to be in his 50s, with a slightly hunched back. His hair and beard were tinged with gray, and he moved slowly. He wore a pair of reading glasses perched on the bridge of his nose. After pouring the water, he turned toward me and smiled softly, holding a cup of warm water as he approached. Just like 30 years ago. It's been a long time. Amanda. Chapter 07. Amanda. After you left, they all said you wouldn't come back, but I didn't believe them. I held on to the letter you left me, and I waited for 10 years. It was Leo, my first love, whom I met during my time as a young educated youth sent to the countryside. As Leo spoke, he pulled out a letter from the neighboring room. Its paper yellowed and the handwriting faded. I took the letter, my heart trembling as I touched this farewell note. Sealed away for 30 years. I came to find you later, but they stopped me at the gates of your compound. They wouldn't let me in. I waited for 3 days, and from a distance, I saw you with your son. You looked happy, so I left. When I came back from the countryside, I had excitedly told my parents all about Leo, thinking it would be the start of a happily ever after. But instead, what greeted me was a locked door, a door that locked away my 30 years. I closed my eyes, trying to control my emotions, but I couldn't stop the tears from welling up. Leo quickly spoke up. I know, I heard from the neighbors back then. You were locked away by your family and couldn't come find me. Leo sat quietly by the window of my hospital room, his head lowered, his face, weathered by the years, was thin and worn. He continued to speak softly. Later, I headed west and ended up here. I've been doing volunteer work, watching the scenery, and staying here for all these years. We once dreamed of the vastness of Lhasa. I never thought that after 20 years, I'd finally meet you again. He looked at me with a steady gaze. I sighed deeply, but I don't have much time left. Maybe I'll live another half month? A month? I don't know. Isn't it ironic? The person who spent half a lifetime with me has been in love with someone else for 30 years, and I never realized. Now, I just want to live for myself. Leo hesitated for a long time, then finally took my hand. Then how lucky am I to be with you from the beginning of your life to the end. Chapter 08. After meeting Leo in the hospital in Lhasa, my spirits lifted considerably. Leo encouraged me to go back to a first-tier city to receive more professional treatment. But my body was no longer strong enough to endure the trip. Once chemotherapy began, my health deteriorated rapidly. I started losing large clumps of hair, and my body was racked with uncontrollable bouts of vomiting. Sometimes, I would wake in the middle of the night with my mouth and tongue so dry they felt like they were covered in a hard shell. My chest felt like it was stuffed with cotton, making it hard to breathe. During this time, Diego called me once, but it wasn't out of concern. Amanda, a doctor from Lhasa, called me, saying you were hospitalized there. Is it true? The pain spread through me like fine sand, creeping slowly, but I bit back the agony and managed to grunt in acknowledgement. Ha, Diego sneered on the other end of the line. Amanda, we're in our 50s and 60s. Stop pretending. I know what you're trying to do, force me to cut ties with Selena. But that's never going to happen. You better hope your cancer is real. Amanda, just go ahead and die over there. The phone abruptly cut off. I stared out at the gloomy sky, feeling a deep, bone-chilling coldness inside. The room was silent, and Leo had heard everything. I gave a bitter laugh, looked at him, and briefly recounted the situation. He paused, his face complex with emotions as he came over and took my hand. Amanda, let me help you. I'm pretty good at writing. I'll help you write a letter of anguish. There's no sense in bearing all this suffering in silence. Sometimes I was lucid. Sometimes I drifted in and out of consciousness. With my disjointed narration, Leo took 5 days to finish the letter. He truly had a gift for writing. The letter didn't just expose Diego and Selena's illicit affair, but also detailed all of Diego's corrupt deeds over the years, embezzling student subsidies and misusing research funds. Among other things, it was an 8,000-word masterpiece, meticulously outlining all his wrongdoings. We spent another 3 days typing it all up and uploading it online. One anguished letter, a cry for justice. We sent it to Diego's university's disciplinary committee and simultaneously posted it on my social media and TikTok. Chapter 09. The letter of anguish caused an uproar. The university leadership could suppress the formal complaint, but they couldn't contain the flood of outrage on the internet. I knew exactly what Diego had been planning. He and Selena had promised each other that once their respective spouses passed away, they would overcome all obstacles and be together again. If I died, Diego would be free to marry Selena in a grand ceremony. They'd probably even look back on the past decades as lovers separated by fate. For them, it would be soulmates finally reunited. But what about my 30 years? 30 years, fleeting like a white horse passing by, leaving no trace on my life. Overnight, both the university forum and the broader internet were flooded with condemnation. Internet sleuths, using the gas safety inspection notice number we posted, tracked down Diego and Selena's secret hideaway. Angry netizens vented their fury by throwing manure at their door and leaving funeral wreaths. Selena's research and Diego's external lectures were immediately suspended by the university. They were also instructed not to respond to any public comments online, as any reaction at this point would only add fuel to the fire of this internet frenzy. Diego was swiftly forced into honorary retirement with a formal notice. All his research funds were confiscated, and he was ordered to repay the student subsidies he had withheld over the years. In an instant, Diego became notorious, shunned by everyone. Selena, in comparison, faced much less severe consequences. After all, her fault lay mainly in having an illicit relationship. The public condemnation she received was more on moral grounds than anything else. However, for someone like Selena, who had spent her entire life cultivating the image of an intellectual woman, it was ultimately her reputation that was destroyed by a man. This scandal stirred a great deal of noise, and my phone, along with my WeChat, was flooded with messages. Mom, have you lost your mind? Now people from the internet are coming to our house. I can't take it anymore. Roxana and I are being pointed at every day at work. And Lucas is coming home crying because his classmates won't play with him. Even Diego couldn't resist sending a message. Is this what you wanted? Even if the world never recognizes me and Selena, we'll be reunited in the afterlife. Selena and I will love each other for an eternity. After reading his message, I couldn't help but laugh. I turned around and posted a new status on my WeChat Moments. This WeChat no longer accepts any messages. If you have something to say, please contact my lawyer. Chapter 10. In the second month of my stay in Lhasa, it snowed. This winter's snowfall was unusually heavy, and the wind swept the snowflakes across the frozen lake in swirling patterns. Inside, it was quiet and warm. The snow on the windowsill started to melt from the indoor heat, leaving winding streaks on the wall. My body continued to deteriorate. After my 5th round of chemotherapy, I had already received 3 critical condition notices. The pain, which had once been confined to a small part of my body, now spread to every corner. Curled up in the hospital bed, I was surrounded by countless tubes and monitoring equipment. Each breath was weak and shallow, accompanied by faint moans of pain. Gathering all my strength, I asked Leo in agony, "Am I going to die?" Leo shook his head furiously, but immediately turned his back to me, his shoulders trembling. He had cared for me for 2 months, and his once thin frame had grown even more frail. His hair had turned significantly grayer. I thought back to a time long ago when we leaned on each other during an illness. Back then, I had fallen into a ravine, and Leo, trying to save me, had broken his leg. I had taken care of him. At that time, our hair was still dark, and our eyes were filled with endless love and longing for each other. But now, 30 years later, all that was left was regret and sorrow. I looked at Leo's trembling back, my eyes blurred with tears. "Leo, if there's a next life, let's meet earlier. I won't care about my parents. I won't care about the world's judgment. When we meet, we won't be separated again, okay? In the next life, we'll be born in Lhasa. We'll watch the sunrise over the golden mountains. We'll see the endless grasslands. We'll watch the wind, the cattle, and the sheep." Leo turned around, nodding in agreement, but he kept looking at my pale, withered face, as if he wanted to imprint me into his bones. Chapter 11. I struggled through these months, managing to hold on for 3 months in Lhasa. It was rare for Leo to offer to take me outside for a walk. The cold wind was fierce, and as soon as I felt its chill, I shivered. Leo looked at me with concern. "Maybe we should go back inside?" I shook my head and tugged at Leo's coat, signaling that I wanted to keep moving forward. The snow fell in thick, feather-like flakes, drifting down like goose feathers. I reached out with trembling hands to catch the falling snow. The fine snow, like grains of salt, melted instantly in my palm, leaving no trace. But the cold seeped deeper with every flake. I pulled my coat tighter around me, but no matter how tightly I wrapped it, the cold seemed to pierce through, making me shiver uncontrollably. I began to cough violently. Leo, flustered, hurriedly took off his military coat and wrapped it tightly around me, then quickly turned the wheelchair and started pushing me back toward the hospital. Just as I was about to cough up my lungs, I heard a clattering sound next to me, like things being dropped to the ground. I frowned and turned to look. It was my son, Marco, whom I hadn't seen in 3 months. Marco stood there, eyes wide with shock, frozen in disbelief at what he was witnessing. The bag in his hand slipped and fell to the floor. Suddenly, as if waking from a daze, Marco ran toward me. "Mom? Mom, is that really you?" He rushed to my side, panic in his voice. "It's only been 2 months. How did you end up like this?" Leo, worried that Marco might accidentally hurt me in his haste, quickly pulled him back. "Wait, I need to get her back to her room. Your mother is not feeling well right now." Marco paused, looking stunned, and then he glared at Leo. "Who are you?" I struggled to suppress my cough, my voice weak as a thread. "Call him Uncle Leo." Marco sneered at my words. "Mom, you've been here in Lhasa all this time with this random man? At your age, don't you have any shame?" Marco's voice was so loud that people in the hospital began to turn and look at us. More and more eyes were on us, and I found it harder and harder to breathe. Sensing something was wrong, a nurse rushed over, scolding Marco for yelling, and helped push me back to the room. From a distance, lying on the bed, I could hear the nurse scolding Marco outside the room, though I couldn't catch every word. "So, you're Amanda's son? Why are you only here now?" Marco stammered in response. "Yes, I am." The nurse, not holding back, snapped at him. "Treating your dying mother like this. She raised you for nothing. Marco's head buzzed as the nurse's words hit him. Dying? The nurse looked at him as if he were a fool, tapping the medical report in her hand. Your mother has late-stage breast cancer. Didn't you know? Chapter 12. Marco started showing up every day, sitting outside the room. He wanted to come in to be with me, but I didn't want to see him. Every time I saw him, I felt like I was suffocating, and my vitals would take a sharp turn for the worse. Over time, the nurses simply stopped letting him into my room. I could feel my time running out. I could no longer eat anything. Even the 4 drips were useless. My entire arm was covered with puncture marks from all the needles, and I had grown even thinner. The pain from chemotherapy haunted me every night, keeping me awake until dawn. I knew it was time for me to leave. Leo is probably the only person I trust now. I had a call with my lawyer, and the divorce ruling finally came through. Diego didn't leave the marriage with nothing, as it's hard to make such a ruling in cases like ours. But most of the family assets were awarded to me, including the house they're living in now. Diego was only left with 300,000 yuan. After the ruling, I updated my will, instructing Leo to sell the house after I passed. Half of the proceeds should be donated, and the other half would be left for Leo's retirement. I asked Leo to arrange a flight for my lawyer, so he could come to Lhasa and be ready to reveal the will after my death. But just at that moment, I saw a reflection in the glass window of my hospital room. It was Diego. It was the first time I had seen him since I left 3 months ago. Diego had aged significantly. His eyebrows, beard, and the hair peeking out from under his hat had all turned white. He was still wearing the shirt I bought him years ago, but it was wrinkled and far from the neat appearance he used to have. With a hunched back, Diego took slow, shuffling steps toward me. I closed my eyes, refusing to look at him. Leo, noticing the tension, quietly found an excuse to leave the room. After all the ups and downs, it felt like a dream in the end. The suppressed anger and hatred I had buried deep within me slowly began to rise. Leave, I said softly. I don't want to see you. Diego's face turned pale, and he stammered. Amanda, I wronged you, but now, I have nothing left either. I've lost everything, just like you. A bitter smile formed on my lips as my eyelids grew heavier, and my breathing became shallower. With all the strength I could muster, I sighed deeply and said, leave. Diego's face drained of color as he stared at me in disbelief. Stumbling, he ran out, calling for a doctor. Leo rushed back in. His steps hurried. He gripped my pale, cold hand tightly, his lips trembling as he choked out, Amanda. Amanda. I tried to sit up to see him one last time, but the searing pain spread through every inch of my body. In that final moment before death, I suddenly felt a deep sense of injustice, but also a sense of relief. I squeezed Leo's hand with all the strength I had left. Every breath was labored and heavy. Promise me, in the next life. My breathing slowed almost to a stop, but I fought to speak softly to Leo. I gently closed my eyes, feeling lighter than I ever had. The light behind the clouds was so beautiful, and I felt like I was getting closer and closer to it.